So the Platonic solids were named for a guy named Plato. And Platonic solids are just really big, fancy polyhedrons, and they have a lot of stuff in there. And they're made up of a lot of different shapes. They're not normal looking. So you're going to see some examples of them in a little bit, but you need to know they were named for Plato. So we're going to skip down to where it says page 4, and it says that the polygons that can be the faces of a Platonic solid are, there's 3 of them, equilateral triangles, squares, and regular pentagons. And these regular polygons can be constructed entirely from the repetition of a single length of line segment. And that's why they are going to be utilized for these shapes. So one of those shapes that we're going to talk about is a tetrahedron. But it says a tetrahedron is a Platonic solid that has 4 faces. Each one is a right triangle. That is false. Okay? The plural for tetra means, or the word tetra means 4. And a tetrahedron is actually, it's basically a triangular pyramid that looks something like this. So after it's been unfolded, it actually makes an equilateral triangle. Okay, so the next Platonic shape is a cube, and another name for a cube is called a hexahedron. And the prefix hexa means 6. So this is just going to be basically a cube. That's all a hexahedron is. It's a big fancy word for cube. So our next shape is an octahedron. Thank you. An octahedron has 8 faces. Each is an equilateral triangle. And we're going to look at pictures in just a second. And the prefix octa means 8. And basically an octahedron is like 2 square pyramids that are meeting at their bases. Okay, our next one is a dodecahedron, which has 12 faces and is the only Platonic solid made up from regular pentagons. Again, we're going to look at pictures in just a second. The prefix dodeca means 12. And our last one is an icosahedron. And the prefix icosa means 20. So this is going to be a 20-sided figure. So we're going to look at pictures on the next page. So this first one is going to be our tetrahedron. And our tetrahedron is made up solely of triangles. Our next one is our octahedron, which is also made up completely of triangles. Our next one is our hexahedron, which is made up completely of squares. The next one is the icosahedron. This is our 20-sided shape, which is made up all of triangles. And our last one is our dodecahedron, which is made up entirely of pentagons. Here, I have given you a picture of a tetrahedron that's probably a little bit easier to see, and I've also unfolded it so you can see what shape it looks like. So as you can tell when you unfold it, it is really just a giant equilateral triangle. You could also unfold this a different way, and it could also be a parallelogram if you just did the net a different direction. This is a cube, and just so you could see what it looks like, and I've also unfolded it, and so when you unfold a cube, it looks like a couple giant rectangles. Here's an octahedron, so if you can notice there is the 2 pyramids. So here's one of your pyramids. And then the bottom one is also a pyramid. And when you unfold it, you get this shape. So you can see that it's made up of 8 equilateral triangles. So on this page, we have our dodecahedron, which is our 12-sided shape. So all of its sides are pentagons, and you can see over here what the net would be.
25, right?
So here you see your icosahedrons, which icosahedron means it has 20 sides, and it's made up entirely of equilateral triangles, and you can tell that easily from the net.